talking about active citizenship, but as you heard this morning, I think the SNDP group has pointed out the need to transform ourselves, and they talked about this crisis of governance. So I thought I would begin by talking about this new system of governance that we're all in right now, which requires a whole new way of thinking, the transformation that we're talking about. So one of the first roles of a citizen that we've been thinking about, I think in the course of our work in the last 5 to 6 years, working with a cross-section of people, from youth to teachers, to MPs, to people in media, we've realized that one of the first roles is to understand that we need to first think about where we're at, where we've come from, and where are we heading. So therefore, I thought it was very valid when we talked about where is this goal that we're heading towards. So the first role is to think, the next to observe and listen, which is part of some of the activities that we do. We say sit, observe, listen to one another. Are we hearing what the other is talking about? And the other's view may not be my view, but I have to listen to them in a democracy. And then to question. This is another space that we feel may need to be introduced, especially in schools. The space to question. And when we question, we say we're not questioning people's authority or questioning or challenging them in any way. The idea of questioning is to seek clarification, to understand where we're at, right? To clear our doubts, to understand the other side. So to question, and lastly to share, to provide that feedback that is so needed and necessary in a system of governance. Until now, I think Tinley earlier talked about our entitlement sort of attitude in a country like Bhutan. We've been subjects of a monarchy, and now with democracy we have to embrace another role, another identity, and that is the role of being a citizen. And I heard from the group work that we should be what? Responsible citizens? Not just active, but responsible socially and individually. Yes. So that shift requires a whole new identity. I mean, yes, I'm a mother of 3, a struggling, meditation person. I work in a non-profit. I was a subject of a great system and a king and a monarchy, but now I realize, oh, I'm a citizen too, and what do I do? What is this new role that, that I've taken on since 2008, right? So this document, which I tried to race through and read, I think it talks about societal well-being, provides that particular goal, and I'm really pleased to read that some of the change agents in Bhutan, acknowledged in the document, it talks about moving beyond research, beyond government, but acknowledging civic action, CSOs, private institutions, and others. It talks about being much more inclusive. It talks about the role of the average person, the individual. So governance in Bhutan and democracy to an extent has been driven by the top, driven by the government, and for a long time we called it a gift from His Majesty. But His Majesty actually reminded us about a year ago that it's not a gift. His Majesty said this is a responsibility. So here's the reminder, the responsibility to, for each of us to take on. So it calls for everyone to have a part. Struggle today is to move away from thinking that democracy is just about pressing the button every 5 years, and then the next 4.5 years, that's it, we relax. Right? Everyday democracy has been a phrase that's been coined by some scholars, and I think that's a very important sort of phrase to think about, everyday democracy. That democracy is not just about voting, it's about what we do, how we think, what action we take every day, whether we are kids, teenagers, or adults.